bottomless pit. Yeah, I was just showing this picture because it's related to the I would have to say the fantasy version of hell, if you will, that place of eternal torture in the inner earth. And what I'm trying to do here is kind of talk about the reality of the situation in a truthful light with less emphasis on what we might consider tradition, if you will. Okay? So this is going to be part 3 to the trumpet video, which was the apocalyptic sounds being heard around the world. For anybody that hasn't seen that, the few videos I've done, I'm going to recap real fast. There's been a trumpet noise heard around the world, or some sort of weird noise that people are likening to trumpets. Well, if you look in Revelation in the Hebrew Bible, and you can follow along with what these trumpets are basically talking about, and they're announcing the beginning of something to happen at each trumpet. And what I'm thinking, and probably a lot of you also are, is that we have just quite possibly heard the first trump. Now, I think I got away from it a little bit, and I forgot to describe what I'm thinking this first trump is, and it is going to be volcanic activity, friends. And it's happening right now. Check the news. Supposedly there are 3 super volcanoes that are at level 8, if I understand correctly, and probably a lot of other dormant calderas that are on the move, if you will. So here we go, the first trumpet. And remember, we have just supposedly heard this around the world. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth, and the third part of the trees was burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. So when we hear hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth, and a third part of the trees were burned up, and a third part, and all the green grass was burned up, we are talking about, when we say blood, I would think that we're talking about lava. And it just doesn't take, a geologist, a volcanologist to figure this out. I mean, there's the description. We've got it literally in the news right now. It makes sense with the passage of the El Nin, behind it the dwarf star. And that's what I think that you can expect to see. Whether the elites are making this noise or not doesn't matter. What matters is that the noise is being made, and that the noise is either that which is the trumpets, or, my friends, it's being made to sound like the trumpets. And I'm not sure in this case which is worse. So regardless, the trumpet has been blown. Somebody or something, or the angels of the Lord, are declaring that something is about to happen related to this particular scripture that I just read. And when we hear hail and fire mingled with blood, that's lava. That's not our blood, that's the blood of the earth. Okay? So the second trumpet, I have a video that's entitled Imminent Asteroid to Impact New York City. Well, this is the second trumpet, which so happens to be, my friends, the second cup of Revelation chapter 18, verse 21. And this is just another way to tell it. So the second trumpet here is, and the second angel sounded, as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and a third part of the sea became blood. Well, we haven't heard the second trumpet yet. What we've heard is the first. The volcanic activity. I'm talking, this is, what is this, August 25th today? Okay, well, from this point on, look for serious volcanic activity. Soon, very soon. And then we should expect, and I'm not trying to make predictions, I'm just reading, we should expect the great mountain burning with fire cast into the sea, which should be the Atlantic Ocean. by the testament of Revelation 18:21. So here we go. So now I want to clarify back on the last video. We started talking about these locusts because they have everything to do with the trumpets. But I got off and started talking about something about Adam and Eve. And I said some stuff that, or one thing that might have shocked you. Well, that is a whole nother video. And I am going to do that video. And it's probably going to be a series in itself. But what I'd like to do is give you some more information that concerns that situation. And then we're going to go back to what we were talking about. So to bring us back to what we were saying, I just wanted to give you some things to think about. And I'll go ahead and remove this picture here. Now, first off, you know that Cain has slain his brother Abel. Okay? And it says that, and Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in a field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. Now keep in mind, the Bible actually doesn't say this, but people interpret this way. Adam and Eve are supposed to be the only people on earth. And then their only two siblings at this point from this book is Cain and Abel. Now, Cain actually slays Abel. Now, there's a reason. The enmity between the brothers, I told you, is because they have separate fathers, which will begin to explain how Cain is able to go to this land of Nod and immediately take up there a wife. He takes up a wife, and Adam and Eve are supposed to be, plus Cain, are supposed to be the only ones on the planet. And he immediately goes to the land of Nod. Land of, that is denoting ownership. Ownership has to be done by personality. A personality owns things. So this Nod character, my friends, is the key. It's the key. Okay, so when he goes to the land of Nod and he takes a wife, now I've heard the story and I've seen the apocryphal books, and where they try to say that there was just another daughter that was born, and Lilith, or not Lilith, but Lewulith, or I can't even pronounce it. That's incest, okay? And, whether it has happened that way or not, there's no way in the world that he can leave Eve, who's supposed to be the birth mother of this daughter who he ends up taking, which is his sister, as a wife. He can't do that if he leaves and goes to another land. And then there this wife is waiting. So does Eve have the child, go through a 9 months gestation, rear it until age 7 or 8, and do some sort of premature puberty, and then go and find him where he's sitting at this land of? Who's owning this land at this point? Nobody. Wrong? Somebody. Nod. Okay, so, and then here's another part that should begin to open your eyes and take what I'm saying as a little bit of credit here. And Cain knew, this is going to be Genesis. We've been reading from Genesis chapter 4, and I read verse 8. Now I'm going to read verse 16. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. And it says, Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. Enoch, my friends. And he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch. Okay, now there is the connection to why Enoch is associated with the Watchers. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about why they chose Enoch? Because you're all into the book of Enoch right now. Because it's trying to reveal the fallen angels to you, so you're interested in it now. But it's revealing more. It's revealing more. Have you ever wondered why Enoch is so close to these fallen ones that they can trust him for their supplication? Have you ever wondered? Well, this is the revelation of that mystery. Cain, his father, is from this land of Nod. You might want to call him a Nodite. Okay? So that is why Enoch is so close to the Watchers, or the Nodites, these sons of God, who came down and took unto themselves all the daughters of men of which they thought were fair, and bore children unto them. These children became mighty men, men of old, men of renown, men, okay? Men. They're not the angels of heaven. And I can explain further. I'm going to have to cut this video short. I wanted to clarify a few things, and I'm going to come back picking up on the locust on the second video. Thank you.